Namaste. Welcome to day number 10. Today's meditation, it was just a lot of third eye blockage going on. I've had lots of stuck energy in my third eye off and on through this kundalini awakening. It's been a very primary chakra center that the kundalini has been doing her work on. She's been clearing out anything unconscious, anything that isn't in alignment for me. And I think through what I kind of spoke to yesterday, this recent, we could say lapse, or just this recent kind of falling into an old pattern, it definitely brought up some stuff in the third eye that I needed to look at, that I needed to process through. And so much of the time, and I get this with a lot of people that come to me with third eye issues, so much of the time with the third eye issue, we're so tempted to really think about it. We really want to figure it out, like what's going on here? Why is there congestion? Why is there pain? Why is there throbbing? Why is there pressure? And the thing about anything with the third eye is actually the less thinking we're doing about it, the better. I've noticed that we don't think our way into the revelation about why the third eye is, closed or overactive, or why it's causing us pain or issues. We tend to get the realization and the breakthrough about any third eye issues when we're not thinking about it at all. When we're just open, when we're just feeling what's there, when we're just with the sensations, and when we're just allowing the sensations and the feelings and the stuckness to just really feel us. When we're not going into the third eye issue trying to figure it out from the ego perspective, but when we're just open, allowing the Divine Mother, allowing the divinity within us, just allowing the divine to unravel it, to heal it, to bring it back into alignment and balance for us. Like when we're open in this way, and when we're allowing something greater just to heal the third eye for us, that's when the breakthrough about what this is all about comes to us. And it's so fascinating how I was going through this, feeling through a third eye blockage, actually just really letting it fill me, letting it kind of just do whatever it needed to do. And that's when I really started to feel it my third eye open, and a lot of spaciousness start to arise in my being. It was in like the last, I would say, hour or half hour of my meditation. Because that was finally when I just let go and I just said, okay, I'm just going to lay here and do absolutely nothing. And I'm just going to let the third eye do whatever it needs to do. I'm going to let that energy center, that chakra center, do whatever it needs to do. Whereas in the first hour of the meditation, I was kind of trying to be the doer. I was kind of trying to be the one to open that chakra center. I was trying to be the one to kind of go into it and just, I'm like trying to feel it with an agenda, trying to feel it so that I could understand what was going on and so it could open back up. And that's a totally normal that's a totally normal intention and way to respond to any blockage. But I found the deeper we go, the more we just kind of rest in open awareness, in our open, spacious nature, you could say, the more that the energy there is able to just kind of unwind itself, and it gets to choose how it's felt. Like when we go into it, it's like we're going into it and we're almost like kind of trapping it more, because our awareness is going into it and it's like surrounding it and we're like hovering on it. I know this is very esoteric, but those of you who meditate a lot, I think you're following this. It's like we as the awareness, we're like hovering there, and it almost kind of creates more of a stuckness, more of a compression, right? More of a suffocation there. But I've noticed if we're just open and we just allow energy to move however it wants to move, and we're not getting involved with it with an agenda, we're not saying, what this energy center should be doing. If it wants to be stuck for 2 hours, we just literally give it the permission to be stuck for 2 hours. And I notice what happens is, in this way, we're actually giving that stuck energy, we're giving it all of ourselves. We're giving it every inch of our beingness. So instead of just kind of hovering on it and it's like kind of stuck there in the third eye and it just stays stuck, or it almost even tends to get worse, when we just literally relax our awareness, when we step out of thinkingness, when we stop contracting on every single thought that's coming up, when we stop giving interest to all the thoughts that the mind is producing about why there's third eye chakra blockage. When we just allow those thoughts to be there, but we're not contracting, so the thoughts are coming up, but we're just staying open. We're just connecting to spaciousness. This is when that energy center tends to start, like, it's almost like just like flowering open, you could say. Like this energy, you'll start to feel it, and it can feel very metally. The energy that starts flowing out of it, the stuck energy, can have all kinds of sensations. But this is what really started happening in the last hour of my meditation today, and I really felt like it just started to feel really good. It's really, you just want to sit down and feel like your body's just dead, like you're just a dead body. You just want to go limp, and you just want to allow fully however it wants to be felt, however it wants to move. And this is the best way to allow this energy center to open. And then as it starts opening, as the energy starts freely moving, because you're more spacious nature, you're not the one trying to figure it out. You're allowing the divine to just unravel this blockage for you. Then insights can come pouring through. And for me, I just got a little bit of some insights of, hey, you're not seeing yourself so clearly. You're not seeing your divine nature clearly, your highest self clearly these last couple days. And it led to living in a way that was kind of indecisive, back and forth, because I wasn't willing to really stay rooted in truth, in like my deepest truth. I was kind of waffling there. I was like kind of wavering, and anytime we are not clear within ourselves, there's gonna be some third eye stuff going on, because then we're not gonna see out here clearly either, in a very physical way, but also in a spiritual way, also in a psychological way. And it was so interesting how I was, going through and releasing some third eye energy stuckness this morning in my meditation, how someone reached out to me, and I didn't even know this person was going through third eye stuff, but they reached out to me in such a way that, they were like kind of degrading that I receive money for what I do. Just kind of how they were perceiving everything, I could tell they had a third eye issue going on, which is so interesting because I had one too. And I really wanted to help this person, but they were trying to make me feel so much shame and guilt about, what I do for a living, how I feed myself, how I nourish myself, that in that moment, the empath side of me still wanted to be such a pleaser and still wanted to like give myself to this person to try to help them. But I realized, and this probably because my third eye, which was just going through an opening, I realized the best way to help this person was actually to set a boundary, to stay in my power, to not give my power away, and to set a boundary. And that was actually the feedback that would help them the most, so that they could get that feedback and recognize that maybe the way they're going about seeking help can be maybe more refined, and maybe this can help their third eye issue more than anything I could have said in that moment. Because maybe me giving my power away and just allowing them to speak to me the way they were and to degrade me the way they were. I used to kind of get caught up in this a lot. People would make me feel kind of guilty for charging for my time, and that people pleaser, that empath, that person who just wants to help, that giver within me, would always try to help these people. And I noticed, though, that these people, I couldn't help that much. And it's probably because I was stepping out of alignment, stepping out of my power. So when I would try to go help them, there wouldn't be, that the energy there to help them, the truth there to help them, like that presence when we're in alignment. It's so powerfully healing. But when we step out of alignment, it's just not as healing anymore. And I think that's what I used to do a lot. But now I've come back into alignment. I'm in this place that's really aligned and that's seeing clearly. Today I was able to say, no, this person needs me to be honest with, like, to honor myself, to stay in integrity, and to set a boundary, so that they can get the feedback they need to grow, to help and I feel like that's going to help them grow and their third eye issues to resolve even more than if I were to try to offer some piece of advice, right? And that's a hard thing for me. That's a hard shift that I've really had to step into, of staying aligned, even when that means, oh, the best thing to do here, the Divine Mother is telling me, let this person, let them go. Like, God in this scenario is giving this person this boundary because that's what they need to actually go deeper inwards, to really start, having some true self-inquiry. Whereas if I just kind of like give myself away and abandon myself to try to help this person, that actually doesn't help them, because it keeps that pattern that they've got going on. It keeps like reaffirming it, and it actually says that's okay to treat people that way, and you're going to get your way if you keep doing that. Whereas when you actually stay in your truth and you don't do that, it helps them to see that pattern more clearly, and it gives them that honest feedback, that feedback from the level of truth. And so that's something that I'm growing into. That's a maturity that's starting to birth within me. And it was just really beautiful how I was having the third eye blockage, and then this person came to me, and I just was like, this, you're probably having a third eye issue too. And he went on to say yes, and then a bunch of other things that weren't so nice. But, that's okay, because that's actually, that this person, and I'm just being very raw with you guys, this person is also God in disguise walking me home, because there's obviously something in that for me. It's like I got to have that, you could say, test again from God in disguise, and it got to show me and I got to show the universe oh yeah, I am ready to step into my power. I am ready to stay in truth, in alignment, even if that needy codependent part of me wants to go, but I want to help, even though they're degrading me and treating me poorly and not honoring my work, and even if it requires me stepping out of integrity, that needy codependent part just always wants to go give, even if it's not going to be effective and helpful. But today it was like I saw that same thing come up again, and I had that choice. I could have been codependent and needy with this person. But I chose today to stay in alignment, to stay in truth, to stay in my highest integrity, to honor myself. And I think that was just like a beautiful thing that happened right after meditation. And I really feel in my heart I was able to help this person the most by staying in truth. And I'm getting some goosebumps and some grace right now that reaffirms that for me, which is really nice, because there is that part of us, that's like, oh, but, so it can be hard to stay in truth sometimes as empaths. It's so hard not to abandon yourself sometimes, especially when we have all that needy and codependent, all those patterns that come up, that we start judging ourselves maybe, or it just can be a very difficult thing. But I want to tell you guys, when you don't abandon yourself, when you stay in your power, you're helping liberate other people the most. That's helping them the most. That's giving them the feedback they need. That's causing them to do the self-inquiry work that they need to do. And it's allowing them to see stuff in them that they're not comfortable seeing. But that's where we grow, is when we see the things in us that we're not comfortable seeing. So that is day 10. I love you all so much. Thank you for the support. Thank you for your donations. Thanks for booking sessions. I'm really loving connecting with you all. It's just been it's a great journey so far, and we have 90 more days to go. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Namaste.